Hi, everyone, and welcome to Fun Friday for this Friday, October 24th. And as promised, we are having another couple of cards based on the Sharon's Scissors die. So last week we did two cards, and this week we'll do two cards as well. And we'll be using the Sharon Scissors from Spellbinders. And again, if this is something new to you, this is a collaboration I did with Spellbinders to create these fussy cutting scissors for our dear friend Sharon, owner of Buffalo Stamps and Stuff, who suddenly passed away from a heart attack earlier this year. Now, the reason why they are fussy cutting scissors is that Sharon loved to fussy cut, so we really want to honor her. And we're going to create a couple more cards today. All right, so I've already done some prep work here. So I've done most of my die cutting, I believe. So we're going to just jump right into it. I'm going to start with this one here. And do I have my ink here? I don't think I do. One moment. All right. Sharon always loved vintage, kind of a vintage style. So this one here, I kind of picked papers that were kind of vintagey. I am missing my ink blender now. Oh, goodness. I don't know where it is. All right, we're just gonna go with an alternative here. One moment. I thought it was all prepped and I am not. Okay, we're just gonna go with these. Okay, so I grabbed some distress ink, and then I grabbed some papers. These pattern papers are from Paper Rose, all right? It's actually from their Christmas line. They are the polka dot that I have in this kind of beautiful, kind of dusty rose is called Fairy Tale Christmas Basics D. It's got a stripe on the one side and then that lovely polka dot on the other. And the other paper that I'll be using is from the Fairy Tale Christmas Basics as well. And this is letter F, all right? It's got that little gingham on the back, and then it's got a beautiful snowflake on there, but we're going to be using the gingham. All right, so I've trimmed my little polka dot piece to 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges on this. I don't know if these are going to work. These are not usually the inkers I use, or no, I'm not going to use these ones. Hang on. Let me just see. Okay, I think I'm all set now. I found what I needed. All right. Just need to switch. This is what I wanted. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of the polka dot paper in a brown ink, and I'm just using distress ink. All right, any brown will do. This is just going to kind of give it more of a vintage look, an aged look. All right, so that is done. All right, so there we go. And then I cut the gingham one at 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And again, I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges on this. And then I'm going to layer these onto one another. The gingham is going to go on the bottom. All right, so there's that. So I'm just going to glue this on the bottom now. Let's get my glue going here. There we go. So I'm just going to attach this right to the bottom of our polka dot. All right, so there we go. All right, now before I start attaching it to my card front, I cut out 2 little scalloped edges. All right, now this is from a die from Uniquely Creative. So we've got this long die, so it's great for journals, it's great for layouts, it's great for card making. Then it's also got this other one, which is kind of an outline one. This will work with some of their cutaway papers as well, but I just love the border, and I love the fact that you can overlap them as well. So if you wanted a two-tone effect. But I just did a very pale color that matches that kind of dusty rose. All right, so I did that. So what I'm gonna do is kind of I'm gonna glue it on, and then I will trim off so I can center my scallops. Now I did this in that lovely kind of pale coral color as well as a white, and we're gonna layer them, but I'm going to ink the edges very, just minimal. We just want to create a little bit of shadowing on there. I don't want to turn these brown, but we're just going to ink the edges very gently. And then I'm going to layer them on kind of across that seam where the two patterns meet. And I think I'm going to do my coral, or my corally one. So I'm just going to run a line. Actually, no, I want to do my white one first. No, I'm going to do my coral one first. All right, so I'm just going to do that. And now I'm just going to center this as best I can. I'm going to line it up with a seam. Okay, so there is our first scallop. Just going to take a second or two for that glue just to set, and then we can trim off the excess. All right, so there's our first scallop. Then I'm going to take my white one, and then I'm going to offset it, and I'm going to layer it on. So now we have this two-tone scallop. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a line of glue behind there, and then I'm just going to offset it and trim off the excess. Okay, so offset. So I think I'm going to bring it up a little bit. All right, I'm going to commit right there. And again, I'm going to hold that in place just for a couple seconds for that glue to tack down, and then I will trim that off. Okay, so we have our little scalped border on there. How sweet is that? Now I can go ahead. I have a white mat and then that kind of peachy corally. I'm going to go ahead and attach them. But before I attach them, I am going to go ahead and ink the edges here. And I'm just going gently around it. Like I said, I don't want to turn this brown. I just want to highlight the edges, give it a more vintagey look. And I'm going to do the same with this one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and mount these all together. And everything is going to go flat. So my pattern papers are going to go on the white. I'm going to frame that in as best I can. And I might need a little glue on that scallop at the end. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's sticking now. All right, and then this one is going to go on our card front. Okay, so there is that. All right, so our card base is done now. All right, so now let's incorporate the Sharon's scissors. All right, so I think I might incorporate some flowers. I don't know, we'll see. So I cut the scissors, and we went through this last week if you joined us. There are the two blades. These ones I cut out of a kind of a mirrored silver, and then I did the little handles, and the handles have that little heart in there, which is super cute. All right. So on each of the, I don't have my tweezers here, but on each of the blades, now the right blade has a little heart on there, but you can see that there's a little debossed line there. That's where you're going to put your adhesive or your glue. And then you can take your handle and then just stick it right to that like little line there. Okay. Because I'm working on a glossy paper, it's going to take just a second for it to tack down. Wants to slide out of the way. All right, so we're just going to let that sit there, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue the handle on the left blade. And then we'll give it a few seconds just for that glue to tack down. All right, so those are our scissor blades, or scissor handles, and then I'm going to glue them together. And I like the look of the scissors being opened, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue kind of on that wider spot, the one that does not have the indented heart on there, and we are going to then just kind of overlap them. Now I have glue everywhere, but the cool thing about mirrored paper is that you can usually wipe the glue off, the dried glue. I usually buff it off with my sweater sleeve. All right, so there is our cute little scissors. All right, and I did not plan a sentiment for this one here, so I'm going to leave that to the side. I'm going to come back to this one. I think I'm going to trim out. I have these cute little hearts. These are from the centers of the, oh, I got to put them, those are from the centers of the handles. And then when you do that one, then you also get the little one. And I take that little one and I put it right in that indented one. I don't have my tweezers. Let me try this way. Use my gem pick rubber and stick that right on there. And it really finishes those scissors nicely. All right, so there is our scissors. All right, so I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to come back to this one. I'll get my greeting. I'll get the die cut machine in a bit. All right, so there is one kind of a vintagey look, but we're going to come back to that one. I'm going to add to that one. I'm going to do the other one next because this one's a little bit more complicated. So this one here, like I said, I got everything kind of die cut. This one here I am using, and I can't remember what the name of this one is, but it is a Spellbinders one. All right. And it's a larger die. I love this one. We've used it in a couple of different projects and events. But you've got this large base heart. And again, this is from Spellbinders. And then it's got all these little pieces that will build your heart. But what I love about this is you can use pattern papers and you can also use cardstock, all right, to mix and match that heart, all right. So what I've done is I've cut the heart from white cardstock. And then I'm going to build this up. Now I took papers from the Uniquely Creative Heart and Soul 6x6. This is a beautiful array of pattern papers in very soft colors. So I kind of picked the ones that were kind of in bluey, purpley colors. And so I took 4 and then I trimmed them out. So now I just need to sort these out. I should have done this off camera, but I did not. So you're gonna have to watch me sort this out. And we will. See, I'm getting myself all mixed up now because I'm looking at my die, and of course, everything is opposite, right? Everything, so this is the one that goes here. Normally, I would have kept these in place, but I did not. So, as I was cutting them, so this one here is that one. Okay, I think I'm good now. This one is going to go here. This will build a heart. Well, trust me, it really, really will. All right, so now let me just sort these pieces out. And then what we're going to do is just alternate the patterns as we build our heart. All right, so It's really not this complicated. I'm making it more complicated than it really should be. All right. Okay. And this piece goes there. All right, so they're all sorted. Now, before I get to this, let's go ahead and put our scissors together, just because that glue needs to set. All right, so again, I just cut the blades out of that metallic silver. Remember, the right blade is the one with the indented heart on there. So again, I'm going to put these together. For the handles, they have a little nub on the inside. That is so you can figure out those nubs are always going to go onto the inside of your scissors, so that's going to keep them so you know which one is right and left. All right, so little dot of glue just behind or below that score line, and then I'm just going to match up the little handles. And because it's mirrored paper, it's just going to take that extra little bit just to glue down. Okay, I'm going to let them glue set, and then we'll come back. All right, so now what we're going to do is when I do this lovely heart, I do dry fit everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of dry fit everything just so I can get my spacing, and always refer back to your die. All right, so all right, so it's going to go here. And remember, we're going to alternate patterns. So 1, 2. Okay, I've done those ones. You hear my cat meowing in the background? I'm sorry. All right, and then 3. He's talking to all of you. All right, and then 4. All right, so there's that, and then we're going to repeat them. So I'm just going to grab the little pieces here and just repeat, and then the gingham. All right, so those are my pieces. All right, and it's going to make this really beautiful pattern heart. All right, so let me start with, I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to just place it so that my spacing is the same all around. Okay. All right, so I like to use liquid glue so that if something is not in place, I can easily move it. All right, so that's the first one. And then the second piece, I'm just going to now follow the pattern in terms of what I selected here. And would you just butt them out up to each other, just making sure that your spacing is still all kind of working together. It's like putting a little jigsaw puzzle together, right? So here's our next piece. Again, we're going to just match that up. And making sure that each of the pieces are butt up to each other. Okay, look how pretty this heart is becoming. And then it's going to be this one here. And I think I'm a little off here, but that's okay. Okay, and then we're going to just continue on. This one here is now going to go there, and we're going to build our heart. You can see that it's all coming together now. That one has to go up just a little bit. Okay. Look how pretty. So sweet. Just a great way to use scraps of pattern paper. All right, as long as they all coordinate, it's going to make this beautiful heart. All right, take a look. Oh, look how lovely that is. I love it. All right, so now we have our heart done, and I could have had it, I should have shifted it just a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to be trimming a little bit off of that, so no worries. Okay, so that's my heart, and then I have a piece of cardstock, and this is the coordinating cardstock to go with this. So this matches really nicely with this. What I love about the Uniquely Creative cardstock is that one side will be darker and the flip side will be a lighter tone of it. So you can mix and match. I just realized I don't think I have this one here is, yeah, I have to get a card. That one I cut 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to get what would be my card base, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Let me just get this on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this now kind of at an angle so that we get some of the heart here on there. And then I'm going to trim this off. So we're going to have a partial heart here. That's all. All right. So so the fact that I was not I was a bit misaligned is not a big deal because we're going to trim off and no one will know. So I'm going to go pretty close to the edge here. I'm going to flip that around because it looks like I have brown ink on the edge there. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. All right. So we're going to get that pattern heart still, the whole kind of patchwork heart still, for the most part, and just trimming off a little bit off of the one side. So I'm just angling it. So I want to make sure that this is not going past my right hand side here. All right, so that is on. And now I'm going to take my paper trimmer. I'm going to flip my card base or panel upside down. And I'm just going to line the edge right along my cardstock edge. And there we go. Now we've got this beautiful patchwork heart on there. How cute is that? All right. Then we're going to put this on our white card base. All right. So there is that. It's going to frame in there nicely. I love that cardstock. Now, the reason why I chose the lighter tone for it to be mounted on is that I did the scissor handles in the darker tone. So, all right, so let's go ahead and glue that down. Now this design I actually got from Spellbinders. I'm not going to lie on that. But they use really, really bold papers and colorful papers. And I really wanted to use a softer tone on this one. All right, so there's that. I love the tone on here. It's got a great, like, thinking of you, even a sympathy card would be great as well. Okay, so then I'm going to put my little scissors together. And again, like I said, I like them being opened. So I'm just going to glue them so that they are opened. And again, I'm going to put that little tiny heart in the center of that debossed heart. All right, so there is that. All right, so we're going to have our scissors here. This one I did cut out the little sentiment, "You're always in my heart." So again, I did in the darker tone so it would stand out on the, I think I'm going to do them like a bit of an angle. And then I have these little hearts as well. I'm going to bring some florals into this again. I think it just needs a little bit more. So I'm going to bring in the Uniquely Creative cuts for the heart and soul. And this is the floral creative cuts. So there's a whole pack that matches this collection that just has florals. So I'm just going to dump them in my tray. What I love about these is that there's 2 of everything, all right? So I want to keep it kind of the same color tone here. So I'm going to just go through and see if I can find the kind of the blue ones. There might be ones that Oh, there's a blue one. That's a good one. No, I don't want to bring in pink. Yellow we can maybe get away with, but let's see what else we have here. There's little blue florals here. And then our little blue leaves. Oh yeah, this will work. So I'm going to keep it the same color tones, kind of monochromatic. Oops. Oh, that's a good one there too. All right, I think that will give me enough to play around. I just want to see what this one is. I'm going to flip this around. I think it's that apricot one, yeah. Okay, that will be good now. So let's put this together now. Got real quiet. I'm just, this is how I design. All right, I'm not going to use that bright blue one. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to pop dot some of these little elements. I feel like I cannot find anything today. Everything is just not where it's supposed to be. Oh, goodness. All right. So let's go ahead and pop this one here. So I'm just going to put some foam adhesives behind here. And I like the curvature of this floral, so I'm going to just kind of match the curvature of the heart here. Again, I don't want to go off the paper or the card. So that's going to go there. And then I'm going to do individual flower here. And we're going to put this one down. I wonder if I should put my scissors down first. You know what? I'm going to put my scissors down. And then I'm going to incorporate these florals kind of around the scissors. So let me just get some glue on here. Ah! It fell right down. Shoot. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, I just ripped off my little handle. Ah! Guess it wasn't tacked down enough. All right, so there are our scissors. I have to buff off some glue there. All right, so now let's take this kind of floral here, and I'm just going to kind of put it, you can see how lovely it matches when you use that coordinated cardstock. It's just lovely. All right. And let's take our other floral, and I'm going to put a pop dot on top of a pop dot just to create a little more dimension. All right, and then I'm going to grab this leaf here, going to add just a little bit of glue, and we're just going to kind of tuck that so that's coming out from there. And I did have another leaf here, but it seems to have disappeared. Maybe I put it away. Let me put this little heart, this little flower on. So I'm just going to put one foam adhesive, and actually I'm going to stick it on that floral cluster up here, right about there. And just wondering if I should do, yeah, I'm going to do another leaf here. And I might have to rip this one. Make it a little bit shorter, just ripped off, and then I'm going to have this little leaf coming from this flower here. All right, so there is my little floral clusters on there. How cute. And then now I can put my little thing here, and All right, so I forgot I have these other little hearts, so I can use these. So I am thinking, and I'm wondering if we have one more of those little blue flowers, because that would make my little cluster just wonderful. No, but I have another periwinkle one. So that may be the one we could use. Oh, I could have used that one too. That would have been nice on there too. Didn't see that one. Well, maybe I'm not going to. You know what? I think I'm going to do this kind of over here. And then we'll put one heart up here, I think. Yeah, okay. Let's just commit to this. All right, let's pop up these sentiments. All right, so there is that. I never put anything out of diagonal, and look at me putting things out of diagonal. Just going to tuck this ever so slightly behind that floral, making sure my angle and the spacing is the same. There's that. And then I'm going to use these two little hearts because we don't want them to go to waste. And I'm going to pop them up just in the little top corner here. Maybe I'll just tuck this one ever so slightly behind those florals. All right, so there, look how sweet that is. I have to get the glue off of here. It's going to drive me nuts. There we go. Okay, there is our second card, fully completed. Look how sweet that is. Oh, I love the color scheme on this one. Really, really pretty. Now, because I did multiple cuts on here of all these pieces, I can recreate this card 3 more times because I had 4 pieces of pattern paper. And so you can do that again. All right. So how much fun would that be? And you can then change your color palette as well. If you wanted to add a little bit more color with the creative cuts, you definitely could. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side. We're going to bring this one back so I can finish this one. And what do we want to do on this one? I think I want to do some floral. So I have to do some die cutting. I think I just want a little branch here. And then let's do your Forever in My Heart as well, if I can find them. All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to cut the I'm going to cut the branch in. I'm going to tuck that in. Yes, I'm going to cut that in that kind of darker tealy color, I think, if I can find that color. And if I can't, which I don't think I can, I'm going to cut it out of this because I don't know where that teal color went. I just had it here, but all right. So I will cut this little branch and then we'll cut these out of white to finish this one off. And then I think I will splatter with some white paint as well. So that is what we're going to do. So let me just get my little scout out. So I'm going to cut my little branch first. I'm sorry, I know I'm shaking the camera. Oh yeah, that's a great, I love that little leafy stem. Beautiful. Oh, I'm glad I went with that that color. All right, and then I'm going to do my little sentiments, and that was all part of the die set. Okay, so let's finish this guy off. Okay, so with this, the little branch, I am going to just hit the edges of the little leaves just with the brown ink. You don't have to go through the whole thing, just the edges, that's fine. And I'm going to put a little dab of glue behind each of them. And I'm just going to kind of lift up that scallop, and hopefully I can tuck it in. I might have to re-glue. All right, so I'll just stick that down. Stick our scallop back down. All right. Oh, that branch is so lovely against there. And that little bit of brown really adds to it. Okay, so now you're always in my heart. I'm going to go ahead around and just ink that very so slightly with the brown ink. Just a little bit. You don't want to turn it all brown. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this up. So I'm just going to put a strip of foam adhesive behind. I still have to clean my scissors. They're just tacked with adhesive, foam adhesive. All right, so you're always in my heart. Just wondering if I should off. Okay, I'm gonna go a little crooked. I don't normally do this, but we're doing it with this one too. All right, so I'm gonna put this one here. And this one we're gonna go across the branch at a different angle. And then, don't forget we have our little scissors. And I'm wondering, do I want to, no, I'm going to put these flat. They're really delicate. And I don't want to cut foam adhesive so small. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now I'm going to just hold this because we've got different layers going on here. So we want to make sure everything is tacked down. All right, and then I'm going to take our little heart. This was one of the hearts from the center of the handles. Throw a little pop foam adhesive behind there. And let's put that there. Oh, that turned out really, really sweet. And let me just get my white paint now. All right, so let me move things out of the way here. And this is my white watercolor paint, which I love, love, love. And I don't have my water bottle here. Okay, so give me 1 second. I just need to add some water. Okay, sorry about that. I have an event coming up and I packed some of my supplies, and that's why everything is not where it should be. My apologies. All right, so is this my white paintbrush? Yes, it is. Okay, so now I probably have way too much water in here, but that's okay. So I'm just going to kind of work this up with my paintbrush, and then I'm going to work off the lid. All right, I loaded my paintbrush up, and now let's just splatter. Oh, we got a big goop on there. That's not good. The good news is that Paper Rose has a slight coating on the paper, so things wipe off a little bit easy. All right, so let's go ahead and splatter. And this will really add to, oh, big splatter again. Okay, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. I do need to get that big splatter off. It's just a little too big. So I'm just gonna go in and dab it. All right, and now I'm gonna let that dry. All right, so there is that one there, super sweet. And then our other one, which I've seemed to have lost already. Oh my goodness. All right, it happens to all of us, everyone, right? There it is. Okay, so this one I could splatter as well, but I'm not going to. All right, so there are two more samples of how to use the Sharon scissors in honor of our friend Sharon. I hope you liked my samples, and we'll take pictures of these ones as well, and then I'll post all 4 cards together in honor of Sharon and for World Fussy Cutting Day, which is actually tomorrow, everyone. It will be Sharon's birthday tomorrow, so what an honor to share this day with her. All right, so hopefully you will be fussy cutting tomorrow for World Fussy Cutting Day. Until then, everyone, have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us.